Hey guys, welcome back. In today's college basketball pick video play, going to be talking about this nightcapper here for March 22nd, 2019 between the Big Ten and the Big 12 as the Ohio State Buckeyes take on the Iowa State Cyclones. And we're going to give our lean on where we see the better value against the spread. Iowa State coming in as moderate favorites, giving about 5.5 points. Now, this isn't the easiest first-round matchup by any means for the Cyclones, but they do come in as moderate favorites, and given the fact that they closed out the Big 12 tournament on a big positive momentum swing, we'll see how that carries over for the Cyclones in this matchup against an Ohio State team that actually had a bit of success back during the non-conference when they were outside of Big Ten play. And that was certainly a role in terms of the Buckeyes helping their overall resume to get into the Big Dance. Specifically, their win on the road against Cincinnati was very important for Ohio State. They also picked up a win at Creighton. They beat UCLA, but with how the Bruins played this year, not necessarily the greatest win by any means. Also a loss against Syracuse. And then all around that, the Ohio State Buckeyes had a lot of victories consistently against mid-major opponents and typically in convincing fashion. Ohio State down the stretch run, coming up short in their Big Ten tournament game against Michigan State, but they were very competitive with the Spartans, and Michigan State eventually going on and winning the Big Ten tournament title. A very important victory for Ohio State in their Big Ten tournament opener, getting past Indiana in what was another competitive matchup. Ohio State was very inconsistent throughout action within conference on the year, that 19-14 overall record. Most of their defeats coming within the Big Ten, 8-12 within conference, and then, of course, that Big Ten tournament loss against Michigan State. So only one loss for the Buckeyes when they were outside of Big Ten play. So today they're taking on a Big 12 opponent, the Iowa State Cyclones, and we didn't really like what we were seeing from Iowa State down the stretch run of the regular season. They actually went on to lose 5 out of their last 6 games going into postseason play. So a team that was taking a step back, but then they got into the Big 12 tournament and things started clicking and heading in a positive direction for Iowa State as they took down Baylor, Kansas State, as well as Kansas, all 3 teams making it into the NCAA tournament. So the Cyclones are bringing a lot of positive momentum into this matchup. And we take a look back at Iowa State and what they did back during the non-conference. It wasn't maybe quite as solid as what we saw from Ohio State, but not terrible either. So they had a 14-point loss against a Big Ten opponent, Iowa, which is something to note for this one. And then they also had a competitive loss against an Arizona team that didn't make the Big Dance. Their big conference wins against Power 5 opponents, taking down a team like Missouri, but Missouri also didn't have much of a solid season. And then they picked up some mid-major wins against quality teams like San Diego State, as well as Nebraska, Omaha, North Dakota State, Drake. But again, a lot of those mid-major type wins. And then also, of course, their victory against Illinois. But the Illini were, again, not one of the best teams over in the Big Ten this season. We actually feel like this could be a pretty competitive matchup. So the Cyclones, their numbers on the year, averaging around 77 points per game, giving up around 68 in comparison to Ohio State. Much more of a defensive-oriented team that likes to drag things out in the half court, averaging around 70 points per game, giving up around 66. So Ohio State maybe just a step better than Iowa State on the defensive side of the ball, but the Cyclones bring in the edge on the offensive end, and that's why they're coming into this one as 5.5-point favorites. But we feel like the Ohio State Buckeyes can grind this one out, slow it down, and have it be a possession-by-possession type situation, which gives these points more value. So we're going to go ahead, side with the Big Ten, take Ohio State, getting those 5.5 points as the better value bet. If you agree, give the video a thumbs up. Disagree, give it a thumbs down. As always, you can check out all of our college basketball picks over at stumpthespread.com, which is linked down in the video description. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we hope to see you guys back here for our next video.